Hey there, Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 2291 of What's She Up To Now, documenting the journey as I originally came online from the brick and mortar corporate world of businesses, and talked about that today, as well as creating and building a resilient business for Supersize Your Business Group. Talked about the food industry, which I spent over 3 decades in, and prior to that, and simultaneously with that, I spent over a quarter century in corporate America. So lots of experience with changing consumer preferences. Food and beverage industry gets hit with that a lot, but even the COVID pandemic, and I was out of that industry by the time the COVID pandemic hit, my friends and business associates that were resilient and were flexible and were creative survived the pandemic. Many of my acquaintances did not choose to continue their businesses during and after the pandemic because it required a lot of change and a lot of new systems and processes and procedures that some of them were ready for, and some of them were just like, not going to do it. Let's let somebody else take over and do it. And that was, I think, one of the industries was hardest hit if you did not change and weren't willing to, or if you weren't flexible enough to make that happen. Whole industries were, and whole businesses that have been in business for decades were put out of business by that particular event, which is an example of a disaster, like a natural disaster. If a tornado hits your building and your business, if you have a physical location, usually out of business for some period of time, or a hurricane or any other type of interruption like that. So talked about that. I'm sure I talked way too long on that because I have a lot of personal and strongly emotional linked experiences to that particular industry. And I didn't share very many stories, I didn't think like, but it ended up being a long video. For the Let's Grow Annual Challenge, that was Supersize Your Business. For the Let's Grow Annual Challenge, we're continuing this entire month on mental growth. It's the Let's Grow Annual Challenge. We were doing one thing every day to grow. And our topic today was the subconscious mind. And I picked one person's story, and for 4 days, we're talking about how the different areas of the mind and levels of consciousness impact Henry. And so we're sharing Henry's story today about subconscious and growth. And I think it's really fascinating that, we think we're so intellectual, but really only about 10% of what we do and what we think is in our conscious mind. Remember, our conscious mind only has short-term memory, doesn't have long-term memory. Anything long-term goes into our subconscious and gets packed away in our mind somewhere, depending on your personal system of saving and being able to retrieve information. I think a lot of it, personally, I think a lot of intelligence is your ability to access things that you've been exposed to or things that you know or information, and to assimilate ideas, things like that. So talked about the subconscious mind. Tomorrow we'll talk about the conscious mind. I did mention the unconscious mind today because to me, the subconscious is one that does things automatically for us. The unconscious is stuff that we're not even aware of, right? Anyway, that's my simple way of explaining that. And then I just use the iceberg analogy as a way to explain conscious, subconscious, unconscious, and superconscious. We talked about that yesterday. That's all I've got today. It's travel day for me today. I've got lots of fun things planned for today, and been having technological difficulties. I don't know if you've got that, but been really struggling for about 5 days as I'm traveling. The internet has been disrupted and crazy. So I may or may not get my videos posted today and get caught up, but I suspect it might be after I get home. All right. Any questions? If I can help you in any way, you know what to do. Ask. Have an awesome day, and I'll, of course, be with you tomorrow.